covenant relationship, if you don't understand covenant, you don't even know how to pray hardly. Because you'll just be praying according to the wind of the day. But what happens when believers understand the covenant? You know, you ever bought a car insurance or bought any insurance at all? And they give you that policy. And they go, well, you know, you ought to read that. You ain't reading that, because you know, until something happens. You throw that thing in the glove box, and because I used to be in insurance, I've read a lot of insurance contracts. You don't want to read it, trust me. But when you're in trouble, you either need to know what it says, or you need to know somebody who knows what it says. And so as a result of that, when you get into an accident, you go, what is my coverage? What am I covered for? I mean, my car's messed up. What am I covered for? And you call somebody, you call your insurance agent, or you read yourself. I say, okay, I see I got this. I see I got that. Oh, I see I got that. Oh, I feel better. At least I can get my car fixed. When something happens in the spirit realm, if you don't know the covenant, you don't know your coverage. And some of us are walking around thinking, and the enemy is trying to help us to believe that we're uncovered. But I got news for you this morning. Because of the covenant, you are covered. You're covered for accidents seen and unseen, danger seen and unseen, for situations that you cannot control. You got coverage. For ailments that come in your body, you got coverage. For money that has gone out the window, you got coverage. For situations that for those kids that are going awry, you got coverage. For your marriage that seems like you can't get straight, you got coverage. It's about the covenant. And sometimes what happens is that we'll struggle with stuff instead of saying, what does the covenant say? Because this ain't a cheap covenant. The premium has already been paid once and for all. The premium has already been paid. It's all paid. You don't have to worry about the coverage lapse. No, the blood is sprinkled forever. It's an everlasting covenant. And so listen, I'm listening way off the text. I'm just preaching it for you right now. But I want you to understand that God is a covenant-making God. And everything that we prayed, those of you who prayed for healing, it wasn't just because we thought that it was a good idea. Before we came out, I told Pastor Darren, I didn't say it this way, but I said, this is what I'm thinking. Let's look at the contract. What does the contract say? The contract says that if any be sick among you, let them call for that's the contract. He said, how shall we do it? I said, let's do it according to the contract. Call them up. Let's get the oil out. That's what the contract says. That's what the covenant says. And so because I'm a covenant person, because I'm covenant minded, it helps me in terms of how I relate to God, but it also helps me in terms of how I relate to you. And we'll talk about that next time, because we need to understand that the covenant goes way beyond just between me and God. That I have a covenant contract with you, and you have a covenant contract with each other. And when we're covenant-minded people, we learn to operate in a level of commitment that is not seen in this generation. You don't just show up when you want to when you're in covenant. You don't just say, look, I don't think I'm here. You don't just tithe when you want to when you're in covenant. You don't just decide to come to church or not when you want to, you're in covenant. No, I'm in covenant. There are people who are relying on, you say, well, I ain't doing nothing. You're doing something by coming and being a part of the fellowship of the saints of God. You are in covenant with us. And so we got to be covenant-minded people. I have had so many people, listen, they say to me, oh, Pastor, I said I was going to stop. Okay, I'll stop after this. But they say, oh, Pastor, oh, I love this church. This is the person who's joined 2-3 weeks. You know, they've been, this is wonderful. And I said, what was the thing? What was the thing that made you join? Oh, it was the love of the people, and it was that word. I said, contract.